All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 as we spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The yellow Zerg player, give it up for New Zealand's very own Petraeus. And I hope I'm not totally wrong on saying he's from New Zealand, because sometimes I mix that up. But his opponent spawned down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have very own Silicon Esports' NXZ. I'm pretty sure it's from Australia. Guys, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go to my stats screen, my awesome Aligulek stats screen. And boom, we got NXZ from Australia and Petraeus from New Zealand. Nailed it. Alright, back to the game. So we got a ZvZ. Both of these players going for some pool first action, I think. Yeah, pool first action. Petraeus grabbing his natural, NXZ grabbing his natural. And this is Lair Like Crust, so 4 players spawns. Wherever you spawn can lead to slight differences in how the how your natural expansions and your expansions in general just get taken. Of course, NXZ going to be expanding a little bit closer to Petraeus, so by air distance and other small things like that, it can make a bit of a difference if it goes into the same Beatles play where you have roaches making this long journey across the map this way, or, you know, even just going and trying to pressure the third expansion. It's a very short distance between natural expansion and third. Look at this. Like, you can see the natural expansion and the third expansion in the same screen. It's pretty crazy. But that does not matter until we get to the later stages of the game. And so far right now, both of these players are playing it a little bit more safely than the other game. Neither of the players going, for example, for a 13-12. That's a really good start. Both of them going for the earlier Baneling Nest. Both of them going for a pool first into hatch, which I've talked with a player like Cats and everything. I actually checked with him, and big shout out to Cats for kind of giving me a little bit more information on this. And I also asked, I asked someone else. I think I asked... Oh shoot, I asked a really awesome Zerg. I asked Fenner about this. Hatch first versus pool first and everything. You know, you really only do want to go for the pool first if you're really worried about early aggression or something. Well, Zergling does get picked off over there. And not a whole lot getting scouted out. No gas, I mean, the big things are like gas geysers. And I suppose maybe something like, oh, are you foregoing the Baneling Nest? Are you trying to cheat things a little bit? But NXZ is doing exactly the opposite of that. In fact, this could be a very, very fast game. We have a couple of Banelings around over here for Petraeus, but in terms of Zergling count, Petraeus is far, far further behind. But oh, some good Baneling hits do manage to land. Petraeus managing to hold on, and now he knows about the aggression that's coming. He has a little bit of time to get out some of his Zerglings, and he's gonna be okay. Loses 4 of his Zerglings over there. Not the greatest trade in the world, but he holds on. Now NXZ not exactly super far behind in work count. In fact, I would say he's gonna be up in workers for a little bit. But Petraeus does a pretty good job of holding on. I was really afraid that this was gonna be one of those moments where, oh no, did Petraeus just not realize that he was about to be attacked and end up losing almost everything because he just was droning instead of making units? But he ended up surviving okay. He's going to be able to do some nice counter aggression. Should be able to get a kill off on that queen if he sticks to it. No, doesn't end up doing so. Actually, I don't think he would have gotten it. That would have been really close though. Zerglings make their way into the main base. See, okay, you're mining gas with 2 drones. I know you're not going up to a fast lair tech behind this. Not that he could even realistically afford that, but also most importantly, he sees the timing on the Roach Warren and everything and sees, oh, my Roach Warren is actually a bit further ahead of yours. I actually am pretty okay with that. Both these guys are only sitting on those 1 gas geysers as well. But I would say it's still a pretty even overall game. They're not sitting too far around, away in army supply or anything. And the only big difference is the fact that Petraeus is getting out his roaches a little bit sooner. We'll see if he carries it out with additional aggression or if he's just going to say, I got a decent number of roaches. It's time to start thinking about maybe third expansions or something. This is a map where now with the changes that David Kim made, it's a bit easier to grab those thirds. But Zergling's trying to dart on in, seeing what they can find. Finding, okay, no lair tech, we don't have a second gas geyser, we don't have to worry about a big Mutals transition. All we have to really worry about is the big roach tech transition. Also keeping some of these roaches at home for a little bit longer than maybe Petraeus wanted to. But Petraeus is smart. He's already started moving out. Use the Zerglings, the mobile units, to clean up those Zerglings in his main base. and say, well, they can catch up, and I'm just going to try and put on the aggression as fast as possible. Has to be careful not to move up the ramp a little bit too hastily. He doesn't want to end up taking an awkward engagement, but it's going to be 10 roaches to 10 roaches. No longer really a big lead for Petraeus in terms of that roach count, getting out that roach horn sooner. Oh, well, we end up seeing Petraeus is having a lot of trouble engaging up here. He has these Zerglings, though, and he can do something like, hey, go around to the destructible rocks. Go kill off the destructible rocks. But the roaches are going to have to retreat on home. There's no way they're going to bust in at that front. I like this. A single Baneling coming in from NXZ. Petraeus is on top of it. He's not going to let this Baneling deal too much, but he does delay the destructible rocks from being taken out as the Zerglings all have to back up. Third expansion is being taken for both these guys, and Lair Tech going up for NXZ. And, I'm assuming that this Lair Tech is really just going to be leading into, you know, more roaches, maybe roach and get a little reconstitution, maybe eventually going into Hydrals or something. These Zerglings all dancing or all staring at the yellow rock. Look, this rock is yellow, has a yellow health bar. It's a teammate. We're yellow. It's yellow. What more could you possibly ask for as proof? But, yeah, NXZ probably just going to be getting up that faster roach speed as Petraeus definitely delaying Lair Tech for quite a bit of time. Really just saying, I'm going to get up a bigger drone count and I'm going to get up a bigger roach count earlier on. I can get up my roach speed whenever I want. And finally, these Zerglings realize, oh no, the rocks were a changeling in disguise as it starts to fall down into the red health and says, aha, you reveal your true colors. You were there to defend my opponent's third expansion. Petraeus, I mean, killing off these rocks is always really nice just because it makes it very annoying for your opponent to have to defend those multiple locations, but you don't have to commit in right now, and that's the nice thing about them. +1 missile attacks getting very close to finished up over here for NXZ. NXZ just seems like he's setting himself up for a really nice late game. Finish up his Lair Tech, getting up a little reconstitution, getting up his +1 missile attacks. That's going to be finishing up. And when I say late game, actually, what I guess I should say is he's going to be setting himself up for a really big push in right around this time because he's going to have close to even-ish numbers of roaches. I mean, you have to remember that he's going to be up against Defender's Advantage and everything. Oh, nice Zergling run by over here for Petraeus. I didn't actually expect it to come in this soon, but he's going to be able to get a pick off on the Queen in the main base. He's going to be forcing back a couple of these roaches in the main base and actually killing off some of these drones. Really nice, but NXZ was looking to try and go across the map. He's facing a bit of indecision right now. This is a little bit awkward for NXZ. He ends up buying Petraeus a lot of time, and now Petraeus has a Baneling, singular Baneling. All I needed was a little AoE. But the Ravagers are really going to be the scary thing over here, I would say. In addition to the fact that this is a fairly large number of roaches, I think this might be outnumbering NXZ's, as NXZ has to regroup with some of his own roaches. But the Ravagers really do add in quite a bit of DPS, even if they are up against roaches with speed. You have to be so careful about how you take those engagements. And finally, Petraeus is starting up that Lair Tech. This is such a late Lair Tech, I guess, in comparison, but you know, with Ravagers, it looks like it's okay. The only problem is he can't really effectively retreat, and he is committed to this aggression over here. He has to make this work. Some corrosive bile shots going off, getting some okay hits, but honestly, I think NXZ is getting a little bit better of the engagement. I don't know. Oh, it actually ends up being really close. The Ravagers do add in that extra DPS. They have less health, but they do more damage per second. 16 damage, I believe, versus... Well, I guess +1 missile attacks does mean you do more damage, but they do attack faster. That's the main important thing. Faster attack speed for Petraeus' Ravagers, and that does add in a bit of DPS, but with +1 missile attacks finished up, and +2 missile attacks is already more than halfway finished up. It's not that far behind Petraeus' +1 missile attacks. That's going to be a really nice lead for going in for NXZ, as both of these players grab their 4th expansions, and again, NXZ, I like his late game situation where, oh, whoa, he actually threw down a Spire, he got out these Mutalisks. I do apologize for not calling that out a little bit earlier. But these Mutalisks are going to be a very interesting play. He's going to be able to seize up a lot of map control, kill off a lot of these Overlords and everything, maybe even be able to shut down this 4th expansion as there aren't really any Spore Crawlers down. But Petraeus is going to be caught pretty off guard by this, as he really just, with Lair Tech only just now finishing up, how far behind is his main form of anti-air going to be? Zerglings trying to move in once again, but not really finding opportunity at that 4th expansion. Now instead just moving to the 3rd expansion. But those are going to get picked off relatively quickly as well. But here come the Mutalisks. And what is there to defend? What do you do in this situation? You throw down the corrosive bile shots on top of your own mineral line? Well, no. The Mutalisks will just, first of all, dodge. But second of all, they just step on top of your own drones. And suddenly it's like, oh, well, if I corrosive bile, I'm killing my own drones. Oh no, the Ravagers are all being focus fired down. Spine Crawlers have already been finished up. NXZ with the ultimate bait and switch. Gonna try and make these Mutalisks win him the game right now, and he may be in a good spot for it. A couple of Zerglings whittling away at that 4th. You probably want to deal with that with a Roach or something at some point. But NXZ cleans up all the Ravagers, cleans up all the Roaches. The Roaches and Ravagers, I mean specifically the Ravagers, all getting cleaned up. GG gets called. NXZ tying up the series 1-1 with a victory.